Hello and welcome to Handmade. So I enjoy upcycling and recycling anything I can get my hands on, and I was playing with jewelry. I had a few necklaces and I took them apart and I created sun catchers, bean streamers, or little decoration for handbags or whatever. So these are all the supplies. So I had one necklace, another necklace, third necklace, some carabins, two pairs of nose pliers, and clippers. It's a super simple method of assembling and disassembling jewelry. Basically, you are opening the jump rings, right? So I like to use two pliers, one in each hand, and it's then you basically push each side of the ring in opposite direction, and then you close it. So I hope you can see what I'm doing with my hands and you can learn from it or get ideas. I definitely learned that you have to always have really good jump rings, the connecting rings, right? They work great and they are very important. You also want to somewhat get matching color or rustiness in this case. Um, but you can always combine it so it's not crazy um, visible. But what I'm trying to say is that if you have all the metal attachments are silver and then you throw one that's brass, it will look weird, right? So um, even though I don't want to kind of scare anybody from following any rules, because I think that when we are creative, we can do what we want. So when I was creating these decorative bead streamers, sketchers, I didn't know what I'm going to do exactly, but I had somewhat vision in my head. This was one necklace with five different kind of rustic looking hearts, or cluster of five rather, and I knew that that would be fantastic hanging on its own, right? Hanging from something and being on the end. So I disassembled them. There were also a few beads, but I wasn't sure if I'm going to use them. And then I used rings from another chain, that the one far right. So that was the first step. I took them off and then I attached them to those hearts. Um, you can use any type of beads you want. I do prefer using any necklaces or pieces of jewelry that are attached with metal, with wire, with hooks, with chains. They are easy to disassemble. Otherwise, you need to use a string, right? Like string the beads. Um, these hearts were little tiny, um, not straightforward because they weren't real rings. Actually, they were just pieces of wire. So I got kind of stuck if I should replace it or not. And this is the necklace, which actually I kind of like. And I disassemble it to make sure I have a few different kind of the bead streamer that I can attach the heart to. I was fiddling a little bit like if I want to make them identical or not or whatever. It really depends on you what you are making it for. If you are just making one individual piece, you are thinking differently than if you want to make five matching ones, right? And again, that said, I don't think anybody is really obsessed with the symmetric look or counting the pieces or checking out if you use string or silver or brass. Those are all pieces created with love and they are decorative and they are what they are and everybody should like them. I'm kidding. Um, so I realize that I'm talking too much and you can probably just follow my hands and see what I'm doing. I am sure that you have your own imagination and supplies and then you can kind of play around with what you have. However, the basic is always to use good chains or good rings like that one, right? So now I'm grabbing it with my pliers in one hand. I attach the two ends of the pieces I want to attach and then I will have another pliers in my left hand and I close the ring. It's pretty simple method. I made different videos where you can see it as well. By the way, it's incredibly satisfying. It's very important to have good tools. So the pliers, nose pliers on the right are actually jewelry pliers. The other ones are just regular pliers. They work well. The one thing I always worry about that I may scratch the surface on wire a little bit. So I actually once in a while I put tape on the insides of the nose pliers, right? So I don't scratch the surface off. And then I used carabins. You can use any kind of carabins that are easy to open, and I put them on the end. So again, I extended to the end. I put a little jump ring, then I put key ring, so it kind of gives me a little bit more freedom. Attach something else, and the carabin. You can use any kind of other, whatever it's called, attaching hardware, carabins, key rings, whatever you have, right? Like try to upcycle as much as you can. So that's about it. I feel like I don't have anything else to share. I was talking about good lighting. So when you have your area, make sure you are comfortable and you have good light. It's very important. Also have good pair of glasses. If you need to, you may even use magnifying glass. The magnifying glass that's attached to a post and people use it for embroidery will work really well for jewelry. And of course, as I mentioned before, good tools. I also have little, I like to have trash bin or little container, that's the round container, sort of in the middle for the trash, right? Especially if you have kids or pets, you don't want to have little pieces of metal on the floor. And you don't want anybody to get hurt. You don't want anybody to step on a sharp piece of metal. So it's always handy to keep your space clean and have good trash bin. And of course, the most important part is to have the good items to work with. So what your supplies are, that's what your product will turn into. So when I go to yard sale or thrift store, I do look for jewelry, necklaces, pendants, keychains that I may use. By the way, it can become obsession and you can go crazy and you can really hoard a lot. It is always a good idea to rethink it twice. If you get items for free or very good price, I wouldn't say no to anything, but do make sure that you work with your supplies once in a while and you go through them, because you can really become a hoarder very, very easily. You may have also well-meaning friends that give you items, and it is always nice to give them something back. So if somebody gives me a bag of necklaces, I like to make something for them. They kind of laugh, but they they laugh that I'm returning it, but they are also happy that somebody used the items and had fun with it, and it actually is something useful. Plus, sometimes people have little emotional attachment with the items, like if it's certain necklace they got from somebody, they may actually enjoy having little sun picture or kind of bag embellishment, handbag embellishment. And by the way, this is also a really fun activity for kids, even though I think maybe 12 plus using those pliers. Otherwise, you just use strings, right? And you would always make sure you use strong strings. These make fantastic gifts. They look great as individual pieces, or you can attach them to something else, like some kind of base. Think driftwood, think piece of stick, think metal basket, think whatever, coat hanger. You can attach it to something, and then you will have 5, 6, 8 individual beat streams, and they will basically create a wind chime. And that is another thing you can do. You can attach little jingle bells, little bells, so it is actually a wind chime, right? Even each of those streamers can serve as one. Of course, it's better if you attach them to a base and they are touching, so during the wind they will make nice sounds. So another use for these bead streams is to make shorter ones, maybe 4 or 5 inch, and you can combine few different chains or few different decorations, maybe even 3, 5 of them. You can attach a ribbon, you can crochet a little um, kind of braid from either yarn or embroidery floss. You can do leather one, you can do anything with macrame, but basically make it sort of like a bulky tassel, and you can attach it to a handbag, to a backpack, sort of like a key chain attached to anything as little decoration. I love using them in the last year or so for my junk journals. Most junk journals have basically are attached with rings. There are tons of different recycled papers. Usually they are not like super neat and the edges are frayed, and these kind of tassels make it even more decorative, make it cool. Plus you can attach specific ends to the theme of the page or theme of the journal. It's just a few ideas what you can use these for, but I'm sure you will come up with your own ideas. They are really cool. When it comes to beads itself, I am not picky, but if I am working on something that I want to kind of make classy looking, say piece of crystal on the end, I would make sure that I use glass beads as well. I don't like mixing glass and plastic. I don't like mixing metal and plastic, right? So here's the final product. I hope you like the look of it. I think it's nice and simple. It's a little bit kind of chunky looking, not fancy jewelry, but I love them and I think they have many uses. So if you like my ideas, you can check out my Instagram account or Facebook group. Thanks for watching, Hannah Mate. I hope you enjoyed this.